2022 has started with a lot of positives to warm our hearts. So counting down on the positive stories of the second month of the year. Here are the top 5 positive news stories of February 2022. Before we begin, please show us some love by liking our video, subscribing to our channel, and hitting the bell icon to receive notifications for upcoming positive listicle videos. Number 5. Kenyan artist makes textured canvases for the visually impaired. A Kenyan artist has made a series of interactive canvases with messages in Braille in a bid to make the visual arts accessible to those who are visually impaired. In a studio in Nairobi, Kenyan artist Benawra creates paintings that incorporates Braille into her works, part of a project to help children who suffer from early preventative blindness enjoy art. For Benawra, putting the blind viewer in a position of power when it comes to interpreting her pieces is essential. The result is a series of pieces that defy contemporary expectations of how we should interact with art, creating a playful and fun experience for both the visually impaired and non-blind to experience the artwork that is on display. Number 4. 100 nations take action to save oceans from illegal fishing and plastic pollution. Representatives from more than 100 countries have committed to measures aimed at preserving the ocean from human harm, including stepping up the fight against illegal fishing, cutting plastic pollution, and better protecting international waters. The French president, Emmanuel Macron, hosting the high-level session of the One Ocean Summit, said that 2022 was a decisive year and we should take clear and firm commitments. The 27 European Union states and 16 others agreed to pursue a global agreement by the end of the year to regulate the sustainable use of the high seas, waters lying outside any one country's jurisdiction, and preserve their biodiversity. Half a dozen more countries joined a plastics economy global commitment, backed by the UN Environment Programme, to help governments and businesses transition to a circular economy aimed at recycling or reusing 100% of all plastics. Number 3. Senegal winning Africa's biggest sports trophy is the ultimate feel-good story. For the first time in their country's history, the talented footballing nation of Senegal has taken home Africa's finest sporting prize, the African Cup. They won the African Cup of Nations in thrilling overtime fashion, defeating Egypt 4-2 on penalties after extra time in the final. Their success throughout the prestigious AFCON tournament has been marked with scenes of extreme joy and inspiration, but also generosity. The president of Senegal declared a national holiday, and a parade of tens of thousands turned out to meet the team as they returned home from the tournament in Cameroon. Senegal's top goal scorer Sadio Mane was named the player of the tournament. And it couldn't have happened to a nicer man. A Premier League and Champions League winner playing for Liverpool, Mane has taken every opportunity to use his world-class paycheck for acts of generosity, both at home in England and more recently during the AFCON. During the tournament, he personally paid for airline tickets so that 50 Senegalese fans could fly to Cameroon to watch the games. After the first knockout game against Cape Verde, Mane was hospitalized with a concussion and, whilst being treated, discovered that a local boy arrived in critical condition after being struck by a motorcycle. After Mane heard the story, he paid the boy's entire bill, which the parents were unable to afford. This was not the first time Mane has lent a helping hand in West Africa. He has donated more than $1 million to build a school, a hospital, and soccer academy in his home village of Bambali, where he grew up playing soccer barefooted. "Why would I want 10 Ferraris, 20 diamond watches, or 2 planes?" says Mane, who will become a forever legend in African football. "I built schools, a stadium, we provide clothes, shoes, food for people who are in extreme poverty. I prefer that my people receive a little of what life has given me." The victory of Mane and Senegal as a team wraps up some beautiful narrative sporting screenplays and epitomizes why soccer is known as the beautiful game. Number 2. A hero just passing by saves young mom and son from dying in Wyoming house fire. A passerby is being hailed as a hero for risking his own life to help rescue a Wyoming family after their Jamestown home erupted into flames early this month. The 34-year-old mother and her 4 young children were asleep in their Jamestown house when a fire erupted in the home. Brian Pasberg was running late for work when he smelled smoke and saw flames coming from a bedroom window. When he didn't see any emergency lights, the 32-year-old decided to pull into the driveway, where he saw a young girl and 2 boys leaving the house. The 3 children told Pasberg that their mother and 4-year-old little brother were still inside, and without hesitation he entered the residence through a garage door and stepped into the kitchen. Pasberg told authorities that he could not see anything inside because of heavy smoke, so he crawled on his hands and knees on the floor several feet into the kitchen before he bumped into the small child. He immediately grabbed the boy around the waist, picked him up, and carried him outside. He then entered the burning home a second time, this time crawling through the kitchen deeper into the house in search of the children's missing mother. Moments later, Pasberg found the woman lying on the floor, struggling to breathe. After dragging her outside, he noticed that she was unresponsive and no longer breathing, so he began performing life-saving measures until she suddenly took a gasp of air. Pasberg then drove the family away from the now raging fire to the end of the driveway near the highway and awaited the arrival of emergency first responders. Sheriff Deputy Jason Moore said he could not recall ever witnessing such courage and selflessness as that displayed by Pasberg, who surely saved the lives of the young mother and son. Not only was his bravery on display, but his generosity and compassion. Pasberg later purchased several $100s worth of clothing and necessities and delivered them to the family at their grandmother's house. Number 1. Scotland to plant millions of trees along rivers to save wild salmon from the heat. In Scotland, the River Dee Board and Trust and Fisheries are planting millions of trees along rivers to help save wild salmon from the effects of global warming. Scotland's rivers are already becoming too warm in the summer for wild salmon to spawn, putting more pressure on these cold water fish. Wild salmon prefer water temperatures around 10 degrees centigrade and cannot withstand the heat of waters at 33 degrees centigrade. Tree cover can help cool water temperatures, but according to Marine Scotland scientists, only about 35% of rivers in Scotland have enough tree cover for the cooling effect. The River Dee Board and Trust, along the River Dee and its tributaries, has plans to plant over 1 million trees in this area by 2035. Planted trees will include juniper, aspen, birch, willow, and Scots pine. Fisheries are also joining to plant million more trees along remote streams and rivers to further help conserve the wild salmon population. Aside from providing shade, the trees are also expected to boost biodiversity by providing habitat for insects and small animals. They can also help control flooding and manage nutrients for the soil and water. Multiply the positivity by sharing these sweet stories with your friends on social media. Like, subscribe and hit the bell icon to receive notifications for upcoming positive listicle videos.